Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in front of us is the 2023 Lexus GX460 with the Blackline Special Edition Package. This model is finished off in Nori Green Pearl, and we'll go over the MSRP once we go over all the specs and features for this jumbo size Lexus. So let's start underneath the hood, where this has a 4.6 liter naturally aspirated V8. It's paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission, pumping out 301 horsepower, 329 pound-feet of torque. It propels this 5,000-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 7.8 seconds with a top speed of 110. And then as far as fuel economy goes, you're looking right around 15 miles per gallon in the city and 19 out on the highway. Now, as far as the Blackline Special Edition Package goes, basically everything that is gloss black that you see is a part of that package, including the inners of the headlight housings and the taillight housings. I think that is a perfect blend with this exterior green. You'll notice too that we have some brushed gold for the surround for the hourglass grille, which is a nice combo as well. Now, this does have LED headlights, DRLs. It does not have LED turn signals. Those are down in the lower section with the fog lights tucked up just underneath those. Now, for this grille, there are plenty of cutouts to provide a lot of cooling. There's even cutouts in the lower section of that bumper. And then nice lines that come down the hood. They actually run into the hourglass portion of that grille, so it flows very nicely. Now, we have more gloss black on the side. It's on the 17-inch wheels. It's also on the window trim. It's on the roof racks. This does have a sunroof too. Body colored side mirrors with that integrated turn signal. And then we even have a body colored piece running right around that side step, so it makes it blend in a little bit nicer. For the size of this vehicle, it has some really nice lines that run down the side just to give it a clean and a nice flowing style all the way into the rear, where we have even more gloss black. It's on this spoiler with the integrated third brake light. Wiper blade is up underneath. We have it in those taillight housings, as I mentioned earlier. This does have a backup camera with all the parking sensors. It can even tow right around 6,500 pounds. Now, as we work our way to the interior, you can open up this two different ways. There's a button on this left side, so you can just pop the upper glass, and the GX460 is a 3-row vehicle. So with the third row up, not a whole lot of space to put items in the back, but if you have some smaller items, you need quick access, you can easily do that. Now, the liftgate does not open like a traditional liftgate. It opens like a door. We have a massive strut, so it makes it very lightweight to swing open. There's actually storage behind both of these. We have a toolkit in the front one. You could probably fit a fire extinguisher or some other items in this front one here. So it's really nice to have that integrated storage. And then if you can picture both of these down at the moment, there's a lot of space if you don't have anyone in the third row. But we have that 50-50 split, so you can have one up or one down. They're very easy to fold too. I'm just gonna pull on this tab. You'll actually see the bottom disappear, and that way you can fold that seat nice and flat. So it's nice to see that. We have an auxiliary on one side. There's also cup holders for your third row passengers, and just plentiful amount of space for the items that you need to put into the back. And like I said, it's very, very lightweight with the size of that shock there. So as we move on to the back seating area, you'll see we have leather and wood trim for this door panel, some nice accents on the grab handle too. And then in order to gain access to the third row, I'm just going to pull on this seat down. You do have to have this seat out of the ways slightly in order to fold that down, but you can also move the entire seat forwards and then do that again. Now, I will say I haven't been able to see the seat actually fold all the way up. It just slides forwards and backwards. So access into the third row, from what I'm finding, is not really all that easy. I'm shocked to see that, because there's a step right here. Unless I'm doing something wrong, I just can't get this seat far enough out of the way. But once I'm back here at 5'10", I could ride around town. My head's just up against the headliner, so I could be stuffed back here for a little bit of time if needed, but it's really for smaller kids if you need those 2 extra seats. And then we just have to climb on out and we can put the seat back in its normal position. So I am surprised that the bottom doesn't flip up and you can collapse it and get it out of the way. But that is what we have to work with for today. So as we work our way to the second row seating, there's a grab handle, so it makes it easier to get into. We have heated seats, all the climate adjustments, some auxiliaries too, and a good amount of space. I can even recline these seats all the way back, so I can just lounge out and enjoy the second row seating. So obviously much more room for your second row passengers. You even get an armrest along with 2 cup holders, and you can fold this middle seat down if you need to gain access into the back area there. And so working our way to the front seats now, door panels just like the rear. However, this has all the window adjustments, memory seating adjustments, and then everything else is virtually identical. We have the same seating, which is a beautiful color with this green. All the automatic adjustments are down on the side. And for being such a massive SUV, it's so low. So it's very, very easy to enter and exit. And firing this up now with my foot on the brake, we have that button on this right side where we can bring this to life. Let's start with all the controls on this left side, however. We have the fuel cap release, heated steering wheel, automatic headlights, traction control, and a defroster. And then there's the side mirror adjustments, which are power folding, a dimmer switch for the gauges. You can even get a graphic for the full 360 camera system. And there are 2 different angles that you can look at. We have more of this top-down view that is spinning, and then you can also see kind of what's underneath it in a sense, and you are right in the middle of the vehicle. You can pause this if needed. You can even change the color of the car on the graphic that you'd like to see. So I can actually change that to a similar color to what we are in right now. So you have that you can go through. There's also 1 air vent, and then we have the full leather steering wheel with volume and tuning, radio adjustments, Bluetooth, and voice commands. On this right side, we have cruise control, lane keeping assist, the distance pacing, and then we can also go through the gauge cluster. So on the left side, you can see the tach. Right side is the miles per hour. And then for this screen, you don't have a whole lot of info that you can go through, but you can monitor a lot of vitals, which is important, of course. So you can look at all of that for that screen. We can also scroll over and look at the TPMS. You have the degrees for the steering there. We can monitor the adaptive cruise, pull up any messages. Then you can also look at some of the standard safety features and go through all of this. So just configure it as you would like to, and then we're back to that screen. So again, not a whole lot of info, but it is nice to use. Now tucked away underneath the engine start stop, we have the ECT, which is the electronically controlled transmission, along with the center locking diff. So for the all-wheel drive system, you can utilize that as needed. We have even more leather surrounding this entire middle section where we have this massive screen. It is a touchscreen system, which is nice. So you can use that as needed, and you can go through all this information with the split screen design that we have currently. So that is nice, just depending on what you need to view. Now, in order to get to some other icons, simply just push on menu. You can look at all of these here. Projection is how you can pair your phone to the system. You can go into setup to monitor all of that info. Now, ironically, I haven't seen any back arrows to go to the other information. So I do have to push on menu every time in order to pull this up, which is interesting to see. But you don't have a lot of info, but it is very easy to go through all this and have it set up. Now there's 2 air vents underneath that. All the physical buttons for the climate adjustments, including the temperature, which is on both sides. This also has a downhill assist control, and then 4 high and 4 low for that 4-wheel drive system. You can monitor that as needed. A clock is right in the center, and then we have a CD player. There's power and volume and tuning for the radio, a few other adjustments. These are even ventilated seats too, so you have those adjustments for the heated and for the ventilated. And there's a little bit of storage space just in front of the shifter with a bunch of auxiliaries to charge all of those electronics. Now, if I put this into reverse, you will see the backup camera appear now, where we have the guidelines. There are a few different angles that you can look at, including what guidelines you would like to see. So very helpful to have that. You can also shift using the shifter if you need to. There are 2 cup holders just behind that. And then in the center armrest, you have a good amount of storage for all the information that you need to place there. And then for the glove box, you have an ample amount of room. There's even more of that wood trim just above it. We have the micro suede or Alcantara for the headliner with the manual adjustment. For that sunshade, all the automatic adjustments are in the middle. And this even gets a dual purpose here. We have the sunglass holder, and then we have that curved rear view mirror, so that way you can see into the 3rd row a little bit better than your traditional rear view mirror. And real quick, as far as visibility goes, like I mentioned earlier, it's very, very open, especially for the size. But now let's go ahead and get this out on the road. So we'll give it another acceleration. And again, very mild. It doesn't have too loud of an exhaust note to it. You know, this is more of a luxury style SUV. Doesn't have any of the F Sport or any of the performance settings that some of the other Lexus brands have. So it's not going to be a loud SUV. This is something that you want to be nice and comfortable. You want to be able to drive this every day, and it just is a nice place to be. It's super quiet. You really can't hear any wind noise or any road noise. Now, of course, I'm going slow right now, but for the speeds that I've gone today, I mean, even a loud truck like that, I mean, you can hear it a little bit. It's kind of what you would expect, but it's a nice vehicle. I love how smooth and comfortable this is to be behind the wheel. So $62,000 roughly. You could get into that probably under 60, depending on the trim level that you go with and some of the options. I think it's a pretty good vehicle for something where you can just get into it and go. You have pretty much the basics as far as everything that you need. You have some luxuries like some of the extra tech and things like that, but that's pretty much it. You want a vehicle that you can go in, you want to drive, and you really don't have to worry about it. Being a Lexus, this is going to be a very, very reliable jumbo size SUV. I guess you could probably compare this with the Toyota Sequoia. That is going to be a lot more expensive, especially for the all-new 2023 version. So I'm wondering if Lexus will start to incorporate some of that technology into this model here. For this 2023, I would say when you compare it to the Sequoia, it is a little bit outdated as far as having a smaller screen and not quite as much tech as in the Sequoia. So interesting perspective to kind of think about it in that way. The Sequoia is a lot more expensive because it has a lot more tech too. So if you're not into that next level with all of that info, this is still a perfect option. I don't really have any complaints with it for the time being. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this 2023 Lexus GX460 with that Blackline Special Edition Package. Huge shout out again to Hendrick Lexus Northlake. Also, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Smash that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.